What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple new type, and in this video we are heading back to Axis as we continue our coverage of Char's deleted affair. Last time, Fabian did a bad touch on Haman. They left him on Side 3, and the crew went back to Ambrosia before finally making their way back to Axis. In this episode, we will see the Tusha Schwartz in action, and Axis will break into chaos. So let's get into this. On Axis, Jessica meets with Enzo. He was late because he was taking care of his sick daughter. They go out to Axis New Type Labs to find that the pilot already went out to the hangar. Dr. Magany calls down to the hangar to talk to Ensign Rebecca, but Sumari answers the call. She informs the doctor and Enzo that the test isn't ready for real combat. Rebecca comes in and shoves Sumari out of the way. Sumari yells at her, calling her Becky. She is totally a Becky. She gets on the call and salutes Enzo and then floats away. Enzo wonders if she is a good option as a test pilot. Magany says that she has an attitude problem, but her new type powers are exceptional. Sumari wonders if Magany did something to Rebecca. He ends the call. Enzo says that he will not tolerate any failure. The Ingolstadt has acquired a reinforced main booster which allowed them to complete 90% of their journey in 90 days. They are currently decelerating as they approach Axis. All the girls are hanging out outside of their quarters. There are more restrictions on the return home than there was when they left Axis. Also, Haman hasn't really interacted with the crew. They wonder what happened when they were on Side 3. One of the girls suggests that she no longer has a trust in men. That is when Natalie comes over and suggests to the girls that they sleep during their time off. They all return to their quarters. She goes to give Haman some food. She is feeling better and says she can interact with the crew again. But Natalie suggests that she just lay low since they are almost back at Axis and she might get triggered again. She feels bad for not listening to Natalie and Char's advice about not being around Fabian alone. Natalie says that Char wants to apologize, but she says that it is her that should apologize for not listening. Back on Axis, Enzo's team is watching the previous High Command meeting. Enzo has informed the Axis High Command that 1,000 people applied to become pilots. Out of those 1,000, 467 have been selected and are undergoing training. Desire for independence is at an all-time high, but the people still aren't committed to a fight for independence. In the meeting, Commander Jeremy, Lieutenant Commander Catarate, and Lieutenant Commander Chinazi don't believe that they should take any action unless entirely necessary. Enzo tries to incite fear by reminding people that they barely survived last time EFF attacked them. Enzo pauses the video of the High Command meeting. He tells his men to watch over 3 commanders and to look into their backgrounds. Jessica asks if she could give a testimony to refute the weaklings. Enzo tells her that it is still early in the plan, perhaps another time. Enzo dismisses his men except for Jessica. He is working all night and invites her to stay the night with him. Jessica wonders what his wife will think. He doesn't care. Jessica says that when you trust me enough to give a testimony, I will trust you enough to stay the night. She walks out of the room. She begins panicking. It is clear that she is putting on an act to get as much intel on Enzo. Commander Jeremy, Lieutenant Commander Katarati, and Lieutenant Commander Shinazi go to visit Admiral Maharaja Khan in the hospital. They inform him about the hardliners' push towards conflict. More importantly, he tells them that Ensign Jessica and Lieutenant Rutger have become hardliners. This is quite disappointing to the Admiral. Later that day, the 3 commanders go out for a drink. They wonder about Jessica. It is known that she is responsible for the report of Heinz's accident. Perhaps she left a clue in her report. The Ingolstadt is 14 days away from Axis. Char gives a bad joke about not being able to promote his men for this mission. He wonders what Enzo has waiting for them. Rebecca is running a simulation. She takes out 5 gyms. More attack her. After taking out an 8th target, her Psychomu link has been severed. She begins screaming. They shut down the Psychomu link. Sumari tells the doctor that she could only hold a Psychomu link for 150 seconds. They should limit the funnels to 8, but Rebecca wants to push it to 12. The doctor injects some liquid stabilizers. We are seeing Xeon's early developments of cyber new type research. Rebecca will be a cautionary tale. She heads out again. Sumari notes that Rebecca never used to be this hostile and that she is slowly changing. At the bar back on Mosa, Ricardo and Yayoi are having a drink. Yayoi mentions that she has been reassigned to Axis New Type Labs and that one day she may outrank Ricardo. Back on Axis, the moderate commanders have reopened the case regarding Heinz. Jessica has been summoned for questioning regarding her report. Enzo and her team meet. Jessica plans on saying nothing regarding the incident, but in her head, she is plotting something. Serana or Selena? I am still not sure, but I'm sticking with Serana. It's Haman's sister. She gets a call from Commander Irina. She tells Sarana that Maharaja Khan's condition has worsened and to come to the med ward immediately. He seems to be in a coma and hasn't regained consciousness, but he is stable for now. The moderates call Jessica to the stand. She gives her oath. Commander Jeremy states that her report consisted of the scouting routes that Commander Hines typically takes. He notes that Route E doesn't seem to be a route that Hines has taken. He wants to know why she put it in the report. Ensign Jessica straight out says that it was fabricated. Enzo, for some reason, is shocked. You really should have saw this coming, bro. She says that the attack in UC-0081 was all planned by Enzo and the hardliners, and they are responsible for Hines' death. She says that she takes full responsibility for fabricating the report and is willing to accept her crimes for that. They take her as a prisoner. This is an informal tribunal, more like a town hall. The moderates say they will resume with a formal tribunal. The moderates seem to finally have something on the hardliners. Remember, this is all broadcasted to the Axis public. Ricardo is watching this all go down on the news. He gets a phone call. It is Sarana. She informs Ricardo that Maharaja fell into a coma. He told her that he sent the message and that it will probably be another 3 months, not knowing that they are weeks away. He hopes Char returns soon. Have you been feeling stressed? Tired of Enzo hardliners trying to sexually assault you? Well, take a load off with Axis Coffee Service. Char asks Natalie about how Haman is holding up. He wants to talk to her once before they make it back to Axis. Natalie says that she actually wants to talk to Char and apologize. Char reminds Natalie that once they get back to Axis, Enzo will probably try to kill her, like they did with Hines. She says she isn't scared as long as she is by Char's side. Andy calls Char and informs him that they just got a visual of Axis. He heads to the bridge. They are about 3 days away. He has a bad feeling about this. Since the General Assembly, rumors have been spreading throughout Axis. In the NCO mess hall, people are divided amongst the hardliners and the rest of the people of Axis. Commander Mikhail comes in to calm the men down. He tells them to leave it in the hands of the court. Lieutenant Rudker is overhearing this conversation. The moderate commanders wonder what this evidence Ensign Jessica has. They are starting to become worried about leaving it in the hands of the courts, knowing that there are surely hardliners amongst their ranks. They are also concerned for Jessica's life. Jessica is being questioned. She tells them that before he died, Hines whispered in her ear that the decryption was successful. There has to be something left from his room or belongings. Meanwhile, the prosecuting attorney investigating the incident is in Hines' old room. He is in cahoots with the Enzo faction and was responsible for wiping all of Hines' data from the previous investigation. All of Hines' men are complaining about Jessica, but he tells them to shut up. One man wants to take care of her, but that would only prove them guilty. Dario informs Enzo that Commander Irene has been ignoring their question in regards to an update on the Admiral. Enzo realizes that his condition is getting worse if they aren't saying anything. This is unexpected, but he says that this might be their opportunity to rise up against the moderates, as they may be without a leader soon. Jessica is going through the records with the moderates. It is confirmed that her ID was logged at the docks around 4 a.m. March 20th, the day of her kidnapping. They look into the log files for the comsci that went out, but there is an error. The file is not found, even though it has a timestamp with metadata suggesting someone was there. It is clear that someone is deleting data. Commander Jeremy believes Jessica. One of the commanders sees NCOs outside during curfew. He goes to tell Commander Jeremy and the other moderates. If one were to start a coup, it would most likely be before evidence comes out about them. Things are about to become hostile. Commander Jeremy doesn't hesitate. He goes over to his guards and asks them if they stand with Enzo or with the Admiral. They say that they stand with the Admiral. He tells them to gather Khan supporters quickly. Jeremy needs to get the emergency code from the Admiral. He contacts Irene and she gives him the code, and the communication lines seem to be already compromised. Jeremy asks if they could get support from the Imperial Guard. She says that they remain loyal only to Princess Meneva. She can't get caught up in a civil war. The moderates were able to find a command station in W Block. It seems that the hardliners have majority influence and even has control of most of the mobile suit pilots. That is when Ricardo comes in asking if he could help out with the mobile suit situation. Luckily, there are mobile suits in W Block. That is when Sarana comes in. She should go somewhere safe, but she says that Haman has returned. She could feel it. Outside of Axis, 2 pilots are scouting the area. They notice that some mobile suit pilots are putting the old Principality of Xeon logos on their suit to stand out from the moderates. The two pilots try to handle business on their own. They attack and destroy the mobile suits. Enzo's men respond by attacking as well. The two random scouts contact the moderates and inform them that they found people planning a coup. These two scouts jump the gun on the moderates' attack. They detect movement on the other side of Axis. There is no going back now. He calls for all hands on deck. It took the Ingolstadt 3 days to get around an asteroid blocking Axis. The struggle of living in a shoal zone. As they circle around the asteroid, they see that Axis is being attacked. They try to contact the asteroid, but Ricardo contacts them first. They tell him that a coup is currently happening by the Enzo faction. For the first time, Haman decides to come out of her room and visit the bridge. Right as she comes on the bridge phrasing, Ricardo tells the crew that Maharaja Khan is in a coma. Haman begins to panic. And that will do it for this episode. We have finally gotten to the coup. Hooray for civil discontent? We only have 10 more chapters left in this series, and so much to wrap up. Every scene post-hookup, Natalie has become a one-note character who constantly says that she wants to be by Char's side. A little on the nose. The fact that she isn't around during Zeta is enough info for the viewer. Spoiler, I guess? But like I said, right on the nose, like Yazan and cocaine. He totally does cocaine, right? Next time, Haman will launch in the Schnee Weiss once again, and Rebecca launches in the Tusha Schwartz for the first time. We didn't get to the Tusha Schwartz this time, and the simulator doesn't really count. But that will do it for now, new types. Remember, once you think you are ready for life, it throws you another curveball by putting your dad in a coma. I think there is a lesson in what I just said, but I don't know what it is. Peace.